So we're back, and I wanted to go over this painting with all of you because I think the first time I kind of went over all of your heads. So let's get into the actual imagery, and just remember that this painting is underneath the Vatican. It's painted on a cavern wall. It's a mosaic, so it's massive. It would have taken a really long time to do. You would have needed a ladder to do it, you know, one little piece at a time. And then we're talking 300 AD. That's about the time they date this to. So this is literally probably one of the earliest paintings that like exists in this kind of a format where you have like so much hidden meaning and steganography inside of the image. Let's get into what I'm talking about. We'll get into more of that in a bit, the whole snake image. So these are the sigils that I want to talk about. So there's sigils throughout this entire painting, and we can kind of just let it run, and it'll just go through all of them slowly, and I can kind of talk through them. This one I like was early on, so here I think we can see. Hold on, I'll stop it for you guys. So there's also like images inside of the painting that can like often look like kind of like monstrous creatures. You'll see that like occurring too. But I think ultimately we're looking for sigils inside of this, symbols that we're gonna see. And it becomes really obvious with some of them. Like, these are obviously some types of sigil, and you'll see it. Like, it's recurring. It's like some. If you could ever think of like something being like magic alphabet, like this would be it. This is, you know, what would be called like arcane scripture, right? Here's a random face. You see a lot of faces inside of this image if you look really closely. See, there's two eyes, his little nose, his mouth, cheeks kind of here. So it's kind of like, you know, it's pressed into the image. So this is where it gets a little more obvious, where you have the sigils. And you'll see they like recur in patterns. There's like more of these kind of like amorphous, monstrous looking thing. You see this like, we see this constantly, right? Here, this one's really neat. It's kind of like, got like a, almost like ghouls coming out of this like image here, right? These like, it's like a head. Or maybe that's his head. Maybe that's a whole head, right? Like, but like there's a lot of, that could even be an animal actually, if you think about it. Hold on, let's see the animal in there. That's cool. What am I doing? What are you doing? You're ruining it. I ruined it. I ruined everything. Yeah, here. Damn it. Here. This guy. Look, it's like a little animal guy. It's cute, right? It's like, oh, my elephant. I'm extinct. They killed all of me. That's terrible. Probably true. So, again, sigils, right? You see sigils. Lots of sigils. This one I probably need to spin up, like, it should have been rotated. I had to go over each one of these thoroughly. I'm going to document all of them. There's so many of these. I want to, like, put them all together and like basically like present an alphabet almost. And maybe even search the internet for it. Maybe we can find something there. If you take the patterns that are darker, I'm certain like, you know, like these are, I don't know, it's language. It looks like maybe Akkadian or something with those like, it's like almost pre-Arabic weird type of scripture. See a lot of crosses in it too. There's a lot of crosses. That almost looks like the middle finger. That almost like looks like a hand. See a lot of like things that look almost like hands. Again, sigils, right? And something like this for no purpose whatsoever. This almost looks like a man, eh? It's like, here's his legs, here's his face, here's his hands, there's a little body. It's letters, right? I think it's more just letters. But that definitely looks like a man. Keep seeing this one, right? And then you're seeing this. I think it's like something you chant out. I think it's like a, you know, it's like literally in that language, it's saying something. And that's what you're supposed to say. And that's probably why this guy keeps appearing. Look at this little moon. I'm a moon. Or a sun, maybe. Who knows? And that's what it's from, eh? This is the main... So every one of those images I showed you is basically one of these leaves. Every single one of those leaves is one of those basically sigils. Not all of them have it. Some are like... They might just be too faded out as well. Or it's literally like this is some kind of a rhythmatic pattern you're supposed to go through. And the ones that have nothing in them is like, that's when you would pause or something. That's what makes more sense to me. This is like almost like something you have to read, and like the way it flows is probably some kind of, where it becomes the right spell, the dark spell. Ah! Again. Oh, this one's crazy. Look, eye, nose, mouth. Smiley guy. Smiley guy. Yeah. This is like a Cthulhu monster. It's just like hanging out between the river. It's like basically where the underground would be. There's this monster thing. Yeah, it's like, look, there's like a tube here. I would like, the problem is like we have one photo that I've managed to like find that's like sourced, and like I can't find anything else. This was presented in 2010. There was like two guys that were allowed to go under the Vatican. They documented this, got the photo, and it's like, we're done. I would love to get the reel of this and see if like there's better images that we can get to look at this deeper, because even with this bad resolution, you can see this is crazy. You guys think this is like, oh, he drew it. No, it's wherever this thing is probably as big as we are, right? Bigger probably even, when you're talking about what a mosaic is and how much this takes a decent chunk of it. And then the caverns that they showed, they never even showed the cavern that they never showed how big it is. They're just like, this is the mosaic. Right? And then the mosaic looks like, oh, there's horses and cheeses, everything's so friendly, right? And this is under the Vatican. And yeah, here's more of the sigils again, right? And again, we're seeing the same image this way. This guy, right? He had like the moon over here before. Maybe the moon is like, in Hebrew, you have stuff like that where like if you add it, the word becomes masculine or feminine, but it's under the word, it's not over the word. Ah, maybe that means something, eh? That'd be twisted. Again, like, you know, like this, I think is probably a sigil. This is probably a sigil, right? And again, we're seeing that image, that Cain's crook, right? Here's the cross again. There's like, again, like almost like a moon or a sun. You could even like interpret that probably as a crescent moon if probably we had better imagery. Maybe even that's a sigil. Some of them are more blanked out. And remember, it's because this is from 300 AD, right? This would be just crazy from 300 AD. So, and this is a great example of how like they're grouped together sometimes. And look at this dude. Look at that dude. Look at this guy. His legs. Isn't that guy crazy? That guy's like where the waterfalls begin. There's like this little guy. It's like, I'm just hanging out. And this is some of the other imagery. I wanted to show you guys, there's like a auditorium in the Vatican that looks exactly like this. It's so crazy. I should actually, let's dig that up real quick. See if we can dig that up real quick. I think we can. Look how crazy this is. This is just crazy. Vatican serpent auditorium. Should pop up. Go to the images. Yeah, look at this. Tell me that does not look like this. You know, like this. This guy totally looks like this guy. Yeah, so basically looks like that guy. And then like the other imagery I wanted to go over, so there's this like monster looking thing that's like a part of the horse, but really it's like its own creature. And then there's like this sigil that's like very like dominant. And then there's like this connects to Jesus. I guess that's Jesus. I don't know who that is. Maybe that's Paul. Maybe that's Constantine. Maybe that's the king who like basically started the Catholic Church. So this is an example of the serpent that's around the doorway, right? So like we go, it's this serpent, right? And when we get closer, it's like you can see the tongue here, right? It's like that's the eye. That could be the nose, right? It's like it gets actually pretty descriptive, and that could even be a sigil, right? Like I want to investigate all of this stuff, see where the patterns break, examine it more closely, maybe get some better light on the picture, somehow brighten it a bit, contrast it. So it all connects to the sigils. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so that's it for today, and yeah. Just crazy what I saw today. All right, let's see if we can like decode this thing. All right, guys, take care. Bye.